Hello, everybody, and welcome to Detroit Bruce Backstage. This week we have an amazing guest, a Detroit icon, Mrs. Rhonda Walker from Channel 4 News WDIV. How are you, Rhonda?
I've been really good. Life has been a huge adjustment. But the one normality that I have that a lot of people don't is that I still go to the studio every day. That part of my day of getting up early and going to work, I still have that bit of a routine. And so I think in the midst of so many things that are so new and so different, one of the things I'm really thankful for is that I have kind of somewhat of a work routine that I'm familiar with.
Speaking of the show, and I'm sure everybody asked this question to you, you start your show at 4:30 a.m. The only reason I get up at 4:30 a.m. is because my son might need a bottle. But that, that is so early. I mean, what time do you even have to get up to prepare for that?
So I have to set my alarm every day for 2 a.m., which I now set it for 2:10 because, that extra 10 minutes makes such a big difference. But I have to be at work by 3:30 every single morning. And
Okay.
but the benefit of that, if there is any benefit, because I will tell you the hardest part every single day is prying myself out of bed. But then at 12:30, I have worked 9 hours and my work day is done.
That is unbelievable. And tell me if this is a benefit. You never have traffic. Traffic is
No,
not a thing.
no,
That
I never have to deal with rush hour traffic. So those are
that
like the two pluses of waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning.
You mentioned that you're going into the studio to record, but I think some of your colleagues are working from home.
Oh
Isn't
yeah.
there like studio patios at home? Isn't there something like that going
I
on?
don't know how I got the short end of the stick and I didn't get to have like my home studio, but yeah, 90% of the local 4 staff are working remotely. So our reporters never come in the building. Our camera crew never comes in the building.
Wow.
Very skeleton crew that are there. The main producers that produce our shows are producing them from home. And we have never done anything like this before. I mean, we have such a great technical team that figured out how to, and I can't even articulate what they did, but in order to link our systems, I mean, I'm amazed at how they've been able to do it, how we can communicate with our producers and they're right in their own house and I'm in the studio. But it really is remarkable and has challenged our team, which I'm sure it's challenged yours too, to just figure out how do we do this and still, be on live TV every day flawlessly and not look any different. And so we've been pulling it off, but it has definitely been a challenge, a technical challenge, but one that we've risen to every day. So I'm really proud.
Yeah, I gotta say, you guys are, doing it flawless. I'm an avid fan of yours. I'm up at 5:30, not 4:30, and first thing is turn on WDIV and get caught up. And you guys are killing it. And
Can
I
I
gotta
tell a
say,
story about how I met you?
yeah, please do. Michael Bolton or
Because
something.
I will never forget it. It was one of the most unusual things that I've experienced at Channel 4. But Bruce, you purchased at an auction, at an event, an opportunity to tour the studio at Local 4. And I have to be honest with you, most of the time when anyone ever purchases or tries to get an invitation to come to our studio, it's usually kids. It's like a class, it's a class that's learning journalism, or for the school newspapers, or kids that are interested in science and weather. So one day we get these 4 businessmen that show up to sit in our studio and watch a live broadcast of our show, and it was Bruce and it was 3 of your colleagues.
Yeah, it was actually my brother, 2 of my brother-in-laws, and one of my colleagues. And here's the thing, Rhonda. No one really knows this, but I've always wanted to be a weatherman. And and I was like, whoa, I can get behind the scenes of my favorite news channel and watch this whole thing go down, and even watch the weatherman. Whatever the bid is, I'm in. So I have some questions for you. And you know, people know you because you're so recognizable. You do such an amazing job. You're an anchor of the main morning news. And are you from Detroit? Did you move here because of WDIV? Maybe you can tell us a little bit about your background.
I'm a home girl. I was born at a Hutzel Hospital in downtown Detroit. I studied in college at Michigan State, got my degree there in communications. And believe it or not, the Detroit market is my first job in television. So I'm really, really fortunate that my entire career that started back in 1998 has always been here in Detroit. Yeah.
So let me ask you this. I mean, you've been almost 20 years at WDIV and you've seen Detroit through the good and the bad. Maybe you can talk a little bit about like some of the good and some of the bad and because you've seen it all.
Well, I would say, I think about just my adult life here, and I remember like in the Archer administration, like it was a really cool, hopeful time for the city. We had this new mayor then. I had grown up with the Archer family, and was really excited because I actually personally knew them. And so when he took office, it was a lot of excitement for the city, and a lot of like the groundwork for some really cool events were going to be happening. Like we were going to get like, I believe it was like a Final Four, and there was like the Ford Field and Comerica Park, and it was like all of these things were on the precipice of happening, or construction was beginning. So it was like this birth that we were seeing of the city. So it was a really exciting time. And then obviously after that, and then like the next administration of leadership started off good. And then it was just like, oh my gosh, what is happening to this city that I love? The downside was rough. I have to say, like your boss really gave us hope and gave us just a lot to be thankful for and to look forward to, watching some of these very significant business leaders make huge investments in Detroit to save us and to inspire others to come. I mean, that took so much, dedication and hard work and fearlessness, just a belief that this is going to work. And a lot of investment in money. I think of Dan, of course, and also the Illich family. And, there's some key people that, we were hanging on by a thread, brought us back. And even Mayor Duggan, I mean, he's been an incredible leader for us as well. And so being at WDIV for the last 17 years, I started, my first 4 at Fox 2, but I work downtown. We're the only station that's actually in the city. So like before Campus Martius was ever there, like to watch that, come to life. And, a lot of, since then, all the things that you guys have done to so much of the new properties and buildings that you rehabbed and brought in, new companies and businesses here. It's just been the most amazing transformation to watch.
It's not just the business leaders, it's the political scene, it's the neighborhood leaders, it's the community leaders, it's everybody in it together. And that's probably right. When people ask me what's the best part of our city, it's the people.
It
and
is.
We've really come together, especially over the last decade, to continue to drive and make more of our city and create jobs and dig into the neighborhoods and work on better education and just like have a better place for everybody. So
absolutely. It's happening.
It's a team effort. So you belong to Detroit Golf Club, and
yes.
the Rocket Mortgage Classic
yes.
is going down this year. How did you feel when you heard the announcement that we're going to do the tournament?
Excitement. I don't even know how to describe or find a word to express the excitement, the pride, the just mind blowing. Like, we're doing this. We're going to get a PGA tournament right in Detroit. Just incredible. And so thankful for all of you over there in your rock world that made that all happen. Thank you. Thank you for putting Detroit on a spotlight like that. And, a golf course that's right in the city of Detroit. It's unique Absolutely. To have that compared to like a lot of other major cities. And It just such a source of pride, having it here. And last year, just the success of it, the number of people that came out, and it was just amazing. And I'm really bummed out this year that they're not allowing, to have any, guests there to actually, witness and enjoy it once again. But we'll get that back next year. But just to be able to have a PGA tournament right in the heart of the city is just phenomenal.
You have done so much for the community, and you had mentioned your foundation, the Rhonda Walker Foundation, which I'm very familiar with, but maybe you can talk a little bit more in detail about what you do and how you're helping the youth and what it means to be part of Rhonda Walker Foundation.
Oh, thanks for the opportunity. The Rhonda Walker Foundation was founded 17 years ago, and I created it. When you're in the community, and especially when you work in broadcast journalism, you become very aware of what the needs are and where you can help. Like you realize that there's something that you can do to make a difference. And for me, it was actually when I was in between working at Fox 2 and Channel 4, I had to sit out from work for a few months for non-compete clause. And I took that time just to go and visit schools, to go and talk to teen girls, specifically middle school girls, and just talking about, making good choices and preparing for high school and, being a leader and not a follower, and just trying to arm girls with like a sense of pride and who they are, and, really trying to have that self-worth and, trying to build confidence and believing in yourself and loving the girl in the mirror and not comparing yourself to other people, and having this dialogue with these kids. One of the schools I went to, a girl said to me, she says, well, what do I do if no one ever encourages me? And I thought, whoa, I had an immediate response to her, but I thought more about that while I was there at that school, about how many other kids might be in that classroom, or how many other kids might have been in all these other schools that are not being encouraged, that are not being told that they can accomplish anything they want to do in life. And so that girl that day really was that kind of inspiration to me that said I needed to do more than just come to see these girls one day. I need to have a sustained impact on these kids' lives. And that's how the Rhonda Walker Foundation was born. And so now, 17 years later, we've always been a 5-year program, but we have 5 pillars: career development, personal development. We do college prep, health and wellness, and community service. And we just try to empower teen girls. So we teach them everything from etiquette and financial literacy to different things involving their health and their bodies. And we have a summer camp, and we try to bring the girls together on a weekly basis just to build confidence, to help, them establish, who they are, what their goals are, what their interests are, to supplement their education. All of our kids, 90% of them are in Detroit public schools. So we try, where sometimes education can fall short, to help make sure that they're college ready. So we do ACT and SAT test prep courses, and, help them with tutoring in all of their classes year round. We have a scholarship program. So we really do a lot for these kids. Last year, we also launched our after school program. So we're in 4 different middle schools with kids that are in the 6th and 8th grade. And then the 5-year core program of Girls Into Women, that's for kids that are in the 8th grade all the way until they graduate from high school.
That is incredible. And the opportunity that these young teens have and these young girls have, it seems like it's endless. And I mean, thank you for helping all these kids in our city, because they may not have these mentors or these opportunities, and you're giving that to them. So for those who are watching this, how can we help your organization? Where's the website? How do we link into it? What can we do to help?
RhondaWalkerFoundation.org would be the place to go for that. And for the rest of the month, we're actually launching a campaign for our scholarship fund. We all know that this is a tough year for our graduating seniors, and we do have a scholarship program that we had to cancel. We call it Scholar Power. It was going to be held at the end of April, where we raise funds for scholarships and we award scholarships to our senior class. And for last year, our senior class that qualified for scholarships, we gave out $55,000 in scholarships. And so this year, we have an ambitious goal of giving out $40,000 in scholarships. And so we're going to launch a campaign to, just try to help bridge that gap so that we can award some really outstanding high school seniors. We have 7 girls that have qualified for scholarships that are just like mind-blowing what they've accomplished. And so, those are the ways, we always like to have, even Bruce, what you do, taking people on tours. I would love to have a group of our girls come on a tour with you.
Well, you can count me in on all of the above. You can count me in on any way I can mentor, donate, volunteer, and then I'll just bring my whole posse with me so that I can
honestly, they would probably love to meet all the people that you've been able to tour around Detroit and able to meet. Like sometimes you'll have people, and I will be honest, I have to Google them to figure out who they are, but you're like the hippest guy I know in terms of all of the people that you know from entertainment and sports. And it's just incredible to see all the people that you bring here to Detroit to experience who we are and what we have to offer.
Yeah, thank you very much. And again, I'll go back to team effort on that. Thanks again, and hope to see you soon. Maybe walking on the streets, you never know.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, and thanks your whole entire team for all you do for the city of Detroit. And everybody stay well, stay healthy, and hope to see you out and about soon.
Well, that was an amazing interview with Rhonda Walker. And thank you again for tuning into Detroit Brews Backstage. Watch out for the next one and keep your eyes peeled. We'll see you soon.